Hello, guys. Marisa.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
Fine. Little sleepy. Late, but
Aaron, welcome. Here's Marisa, Jose Luis, Aaron. Welcome. Let me write your name, Marisa, Luis, Aaron, Rene, Rene. How are you guys? How was your week? Sebastian.
same old, same old. I couldn't sleep much last night. That's why I'm a little sleepy.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Rene. Good afternoon. Sareli. Rene.
Sebastian. Who is Sebastian?
Azarelli, Sebastian.
Sorry. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. Sorry.
Azareli, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Azareli, who is Firulais?
I don't know. That's my name in the.
No, in the background, you have an image of Firulais.
I don't know, my son.
Liliana, welcome.
Let me try to change.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Liliana.
Hello, teacher.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
Firu
Fine,
lies.
fine. Working with no rest.
Yes, I
Participating in
know.
the
Me too.
best. Has Prony paid you yet? There was a problem with the payments at Prony, right?
Yes.
I don't know who works in pronating. Josue, Adilene.
Liliana, maybe.
Miriam.
Oh yeah, Miriam too.
That's so bad to know. That's very bad to know. And Karen, oh, Gabby. Welcome, Gabby. And welcome, Juvia.
Thanks, teacher. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Josue,
Thank you.
welcome. So far we have Aaron, Josue, Azareli, Gaby, Lluvia, José Luis, Liliana, Marisa, and Rene. We're missing 5 people.
Who is this?
We're missing Ignacio. We're missing Miriam,
Georgina, Adilene.
Georgina, Adilene. Who else?
Efraín.
Efraín. Yes. Efraín. Okay, guys, well, let's begin. Let's begin because time is money.
You're right.
I'm going to begin sharing my screen with you. Please tell me when you're able to see it. Are you able to see it now?
Wait. Now.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Yes or no, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Now we can see it.
Teacher, dice Miriam que no puede entrar, que no la deja entrar.
Really?
English, please, English.
Sorry.
Participant. Miriam, she's already here, right?
Yes, good morning. Well,
Miriam. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, Georgina. Here comes Georgina. Okay. There. Okay, now, are you able to see the slide?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
guys. So,
Seems you're freeze, teacher. Frozen. ¿Se salió el teacher?
ready?
Oh, yes.
Ready? Okay. Think for a moment about your students. And do you think that your students are good at speaking English?
We
Some
don't
of
need.
them.
We don't need to think much. They aren't good to speak English. They don't know how to speak English well. Well, in my
Yes.
students, okay.
Yes, that's a problem. That's a very common problem that we have, English teachers. A very common problem that we have in all levels and in every school, I believe.
Yeah, I have good students, but not all of them have the same level of English. But I have good students.
I believe
They know how to speak
Yes.
English very well.
has to
Exactly.
do the same with all the subjects. If they like the subject, they put a little more effort to learn how to speak, to write language, but the majority other, almost all the students don't like English. In my
Exactly. Also, there are different levels of proficiency, and also there are different levels of motivation. And they have to be intrinsically motivated to learn and to produce English. Thank you, guys. So there are many factors that affect producing English. One of them, as we already mentioned, is the student's motivation. And it has to be intrinsic motivation that comes within their minds. It has to be in their will to learn and to produce language. Also, another factor that affects producing English is classroom handicaps. For instance, how many students do you have in your class? The different levels of proficiency that they present, the time that you have. There are many factors regarding the classroom. Another factor, and we have to mention it, it's the teacher's motivation. How do you come to your class? How do you approach your class? Do you plan your class? Do you prepare yourself? Another question. Bad habits. Also, there's a bad habit that we tend to place more importance on vocabulary, on grammar, and we tend to overlook the skills that are more difficult. For instance, speaking. Another factor that we have is that the book. Sometimes we adhere to the book strictly to what the book says. And in many cases, the institution that we work with demands us to finish the book regardless of anything. So there's another factor to take into consideration. And another is the mother tongue. Well, for us, it's not much of a problem because we share the same alphabet, practically the same alphabet, and the sounds are quite similar, some of them. But for instance, another languages like English, like Japanese, like Arab, or like Russians, they're very different. And sometimes that presents another factor. Do you have any comment regarding this slide? Okay. Now, what is speaking? Please, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to help me read, please. Anyone?
Me, teacher.
Please.
Speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning through the use of verbal and nonverbal symbols in a variety of contexts.
Thank you. This is the best definition of the speaking that I could find. Process of building and sharing meaning through verbal and nonverbal symbols in a wide variety of contexts. And it has to do with meaning and also with context. Meaning, what do we want to convey? Well, first of all, language is used in order of functions of the language, which are, for instance, feelings, opinions, personal details, giving advice, expressing hope, telling stories, daily routines, describing people, places, objects, habits. And also the contexts, well, are very different. They are formal, informal, at home, at school, in the street, with the friends, on a holiday, on a vacation, at a mall, or at a very specific situation. The context and the meaning interact to provide different types of communication and also different type of languages. Medium, choose a victim, please.
Araceli.
Can you help us, Araceli?
Yes, of course. Do you know, sorry, do you know that many language learners regard speaking ability as a measure of knowing a language? Success.
Thank you, Araceli. Please correct me if I'm wrong, that many of us and many of our students regard having the ability to speak English as the maximum top of the top about learning a language. They say when I able to speak English in a fluent manner, then I'll know that I know English. What do you think of this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's your opinion about this? Anyone?
I'm not really sure, but sometimes people that know us, they say, "Oh, you know a lot of English because you know how to speak English." But we know that we need to learn a lot of English. Mm, I don't know how to say it. It's hard to learn another language because it's not the only part of a language, learning how to speak it or how to talk it. Mm, Instead, we need to learn a lot of grammar, a lot of history of the language, and how to like to I don't know to accommodate the grammar rules, and it's hard. And all the people just said, "Oh, you know a lot of English because you know how to speak it," but that's not the easiest part.
Yes, yes, necessarily. Now you're talking about a mastery level of proficiency in English.
It can be in the other way too, because you may know a lot of grammar, but you are not fluent while speaking the language.
Exactly, yes. Also a good point.
And we have to learn how to use the appropriate language. It all depending on the context that we are needing the language for. For example, we have all been asked to translate a song because they say, "Oh, you know English, you can translate this song." But I mean, it's a different context. We have to pay close attention to it. And that doesn't mean that because we know how to translate that song, that doesn't mean that we don't know how to speak.
Exactly. That happens very often. Very often.
Teacher, and sometimes too with in a formal context, maybe we don't know too much words, formal words to speak with a person who maybe some doctors, maybe they use a lot of different words that we don't use.
That's true also. That's true.
Yeah.
And reminds me when I was studying English at the US, at the Community Center in San Francisco, our teacher told us that we were going to learn every day in basic English. We were going to learn English to survive, but not, for instance, to be a news anchor, for instance. But yes, that's true. Okay.
I mentioned in the diagnosis activity that is not the same to know English than to know the full vocabulary. It's a different thing. We
Yes,
cannot.
and it will be very hard to master all the lexicon in English because every day is growing.
I
Every
also mentioned it, as Jose Luis said, teacher, in the diagnosis, that sometimes we know some vocabulary, but there are a lot of words that we don't know the meaning, even in Spanish. So
Mhm.
it's so hard in English.
Yes, also true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Teacher,
Yes.
Yeah, I work in the jail when in the afternoon, and one day the principal there asked me to translate the presentation uh, from there from the jail, but the language, the technical language, I don't know if it's correct. Technical language is it was hard to me, and I said I don't understand these words in Spanish. I don't know what this word mean. Uh, I can translate to English because I don't know what it's in Spanish. This word because about the processes and different uh, things in the jail.
The legal vocabulary is different, like medical vocabulary or engineer vocabulary, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yes, and they
Exactly.
think that if you speak English, you can speak every word, the full vocabulary.
Yes,
People
exactly.
think,
That's why they created
Teacher,
English for specific purposes.
that's what's going to comment. That
Yes,
we be aware that there are English for academic purposes, for different purposes.
exactly, Marisa. And because it involves a different type of language. It's called meta language. That is the language that each career or each profession has, and it's unique to that career and that profession. For instance, as educators, we have our own vocabulary that people who are not educators don't know anything about it. Yes. Um, who was the last person who read? Miriam.
Azareli.
Sareli.
Pasarelli.
Azareli. Azareli, choose a victim, please.
Josue.
Can you help us, Josue?
I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Do you know that they regard speaking as the most important skill they can acquire, and they assess their progress in terms of their accomplishments in spoken communication.
Exactly. And that is exactly what you were saying. Exactly the same. Now, Josue, can you choose another victim, please?
Yes, Liliana.
Can you help us?
Yes, teacher. The main issues are, first part, despite its importance for many years, teaching speaking has been undervalued. Second part, English language teachers have continued to teach speaking just a repetition of drills or memorization of dialogues.
Thank you, Liliana. Do you agree? You disagree? What do you think?
I agree. Most of the other teachers, for example, in the WADO, they say English, it doesn't matter. Even if the students have to take it for 3 years, they say, it doesn't matter. You can do it anyway.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So these are the main issues regarding teaching and speaking that we have to know in order to be able to do something about them. Thank you, Georgina. And what's the problem with this approach to teaching speaking in a foreign language? Well, there's no real communication. There's no information exchange. There is no real interaction. There is no transaction of information, of valuable information, and there is no negotiation of meaning. And thus, there is no new knowledge. There is no there is no training in the skill, and there is no learning. So, what makes a good speaker? And we have here several examples of many people who are regarded as excellent speakers. Yasser Arafat from Palestine, the Dr. Martin Luther King, Margaret Thatcher from England, and Barack Obama. What makes a good speaker? In your own personal opinion, what makes a good speaker, guys?
Maybe practice and I don't know,
Practice, okay.
study, reading a lot.
Fluency and
think
a lot of vocabulary.
Okay.
Attitude.
I
it
think
will be the person that can express what they think and what they feel.
Very good.
I think that the message that speaker choose to transmit to people is important to be a good speaker.
Very important, yes.
Also using the correct words according to the context they are.
Good, good. Very
I
good.
think that's the main point. I think that what Rene said is the main point because once we know what context we are in, how we need to speak, that's how we are going to be
Agree.
able to use the appropriate vocabulary. Also body language.
It's according to the audience.
Very good. So I see that you have very clear in your mind what makes a good speaker. And that's a very good starting point. Now, as teachers, while speaking, we generally expect our students to be able to produce English speech sounds and sound patterns, use word and sentence stress, intonation patterns, and the rhythm of the second language. Also, we want them to select appropriate words and sentences according to the proper social setting, informal or formal, the audience situation and subject matter. And also we want them to organize their thoughts in a meaningful and logical sequence. Use language as a means of expressing values and judgments, and use the language quickly and confidently with few unnatural pauses, which is called as fluency. We use these criteria to test or assess their ability to speak. The problem with this is they cannot do it on their own. We need to teach them how to do this. And that's the problem. That we don't have the time or the inclination or the skills to know how to teach all of these criteria to our students. So who was the last person who read? Josue.
Liliana.
Liliana, choose a victim, Liliana.
Yes, Marisa.
Teachers have to provide authentic practice that prepares students for real life communication situations, practice speaking in class. They have to help their students develop the ability to produce grammatically correct, logically connected sentences that are appropriate to a specific context, and to do so using acceptable, that is comprehensible pronunciation. Teach vocabulary, teach grammar, teach pronunciation, intonation, equip them with everything they need to speak confidently and fluently.
Thank you, Marisa. And that is why we must provide good examples and good practice in speaking since day one. It is very important, since day one. Marisa, choose a victim, please.
Provide real-life situations. Teachers should create a classroom environment where students have real-life communication, authentic activities, and meaningful tasks that promote oral language. This can occur when students collaborate in groups to achieve a goal or to complete a task.
Thank
Get
you,
real.
Thank you. So we have to provide real life and meaningful situations. Okay. And now I'm going to share with you some activities that promote speaking. Rene, can you choose somebody else, please?
Yes, Gabriela.
Okay. Discussions. After a content-based lesson, a discussion can be held for various reasons. The students may aim to arrive at a conclusion, share ideas about an event, or find solutions in their discussion groups. Before the discussion, it is essential that the purpose of the discussion activity is set by the teacher.
Thank you, Gabby. So we have a good strategy. Discussions. Gabby, choose somebody else, please.
Ignacio.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Role play. The teachers give information to the learners, such as who they are and what they think or feel. Thus, the teacher can tell the student that, for example, you are David. You go to the doctor and tell him what happened last night. And
Thank you, Ignacio. I'm very sure that you have all put this into practice, role play. Ignacio, choose another victim, please.
Efrain.
Simulations. Simulations are very similar to role plays, but what makes simulations different than role plays is that they are more elaborate. In simulations, students can bring items to the class to create a realistic environment. For instance, if a student is acting as a president, she wears a suit and brings a microphone to deliver his speech. Role plays and simulations have many advantages. Such activities motivate the students and increase the self-confidence of hesitant students.
Thank you, Efrain. This activity is also called acting out, but this one involves previous preparation from the teacher and, more importantly, from the student. Thank you, Efrain. Choose a victim, please.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Okay, information gap. Students are supposed to be working in pairs. One student will have the information that other partners do not have. The partners will share their information. Information gap activities serve many purposes, such as solving a problem or collecting information. Also, each partner plays an important role because the task cannot be completed and the pairs do not provide the information that the others need. These activities are effective because everybody has the opportunity to talk extensively and target language.
Thank you, Aaron. And also a very common activity regarding speaking. And they have to communicate because one student has the information that the other needs and vice versa. So they have to communicate. It is meaningful. It involves exchange of information. This is a very good activity. Aaron, choose another victim, please.
Who's missing? No sé quién falta, teacher.
We're missing Jose Luis, Georgina.
Pues, Jose Luis.
Thank you.
Okay, brainstorming. On a given topic, students can produce ideas in a limited time. Depending on the context, either individual or group brainstorming is effective and learners generate ideas quickly and freely. The good characteristics of brainstorming is that the students are not criticized for their ideas, so students will be open to sharing new ideas.
Thank you, Josue. Also, a very good activity, and this activity is very used in meetings and especially in marketing. So this is a very common activity and strategy. Thank you, Jose Luis. Jose Luis, choose somebody else, please.
Lluvia.
Storytelling. Students can briefly summarize a tale or story they hear from somebody beforehand. They may create, imagine their own stories to tell their classmates. Storytelling fosters creative thinking. It also helps students express ideas in the format of beginning, development, and ending, including the characters and setting a story has to have.
Thank you, Lluvia. And also you can combine this activity with writing. First, write the story and then tell it. Lluvia, choose somebody else, please.
Georgina is missing.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Inter,
Sorry. Ah, there. Sorry.
interviews. Students can conduct interviews on selected topics with various people. Conducting interviews with people gives students a chance to practice their speaking ability, not only in class, but also outside, and help them become socialized. After interview, each student can present his or her study to the class.
Thank you, Georgina. You can use this with activities such as a survey, depending on a topic that the student has special interest in or is knowledgeable in. Thank you, Georgina. Georgina, choose somebody else.
Joshua?
And here, story completion. This is a very enjoyable, cool class free speaking activity for which students sit in a cycle. For this activity, a teacher starts to tell a story, but after a few sentences, or he or she stops narrating. Then each student starts to narrate from the point where the previous one stopped. Each student is supposed to add from 4 to 10 sentences. Student can add new characters, event, descriptions, and so on.
Thank you, Josue. We have used this activity in class, if you can remember. Josue, choose another victim, please.
Lluvia.
Lluvia.
Okay. Story, I can see story. I don't know what the words next.
Story completion. Do you see it now?
Yep.
She got frozen.
What? You can try to imagine what happened. Number 2, can you are almost empty?
Thank you. Yes, this is very good activity because you you can do this with intermediate level students when you provide the words that they have to use in order to complete the story. And they have to integrate those words into their own storytelling. Guys, I'm going to finish this meeting right now, and we continue immediately with the same link, okay? Because I only have 1 minute left. So I finished the session, and we continue immediately.
Okay.
See you in a moment.
Okay.